Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. So this is Algebra with myself, Micah. So just going over, getting things started. Wanted to kind of do a brief, recap of some basic principles. Looks like my video just froze. So basically, I just want to kind of recap some uh, properties of fractions. So some basic properties that you should know coming in algebra. That way, you're not too overwhelmed if you're kind of just doing this as a review. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, kind of want to start with the basics. It's kind of hard to build in algebra or math in general if you don't understand the basics. So I'll kind of, as I go through this, I want to start from the very beginning and then just get more complex because this is definitely one of my favorite subjects, that being algebra. So I guess we'll start off with these 7 basic rules. First rule is the rule of equivalent fractions. It states that a divided by b is equal to c over d if and only if a times d is equal to b times c. Second rule is the rule of signs. Basically, it just states that a divided by b times a negative sign is the same thing as negative a divided by b, and that a over negative b basically is the same exact thing as negative a. No, well that's one part of the rule, and then the next part of the rule is that negative a divided by negative b is equal to a over b. So that basically a negative divided by a negative is just equal to a positive. Rule 3 states, basically rule 3 says generate equivalent fractions. What that means is that a divided by b is the same exact thing as if you took a times another constant divided by b times another constant, because that constant would just cancel itself out. The only time this does not apply is if that constant is equal to 0, and that's because you can't divide by 0. So yeah. So anyways, let's see, number 4 is add or subtract with like denominators. Basically, that states that a divided by b plus or minus c over b is the same exact thing as a plus c divided by b. Then we have rule number 5, which states if you add or subtract with unlike denominators, basically a divided by b plus or minus c over d is the same exact thing as just taking a times d plus or minus b times c divided by b times d. That's a little more complicated. We're going to get to that one later down the road. But for right now, I just want to kind of make sure that we know what the rules are. Number 6 is multiply fractions. So a divided by b times c over d is equal to ac divided by bd. And then the last rule is divide fractions. So a divided by b divided by c over d is the same exact thing as if you took a divided by b times d over c. And you can see the same exact thing right next to that. So we'll start with a brief example, something really quick. Let me just go ahead and grab my little pencil tool. So let's see. The first one we have is we're going to use the third rule. So basically we're going to show that x divided by 5 is equal to 3x over 15. And basically the way we show this is that it's really simple. You just want to factor. You're just going to factor out the 3 right here. Oops. So we're just going to factor out that 3 right here, and then we're going to factor out 3 out of 15. So 3 times x, and then 5. So 3 times x is equal to 3x, and 3 times 5, that's multiplication if you don't know what these little dots mean, is equal to 15. So we'll just rewrite the same exact thing that we had up there over here. And there we have it. See, super simple. That this rule is, like I said, it's a pretty simple rule. We see right here, a, in this case, a is x, and then c, the constant is 3. Because you had x, originally we had x in the numerator, 5 in the denominator. All we did was just take both of those and multiply them times x to get the new fraction, which is equivalent to the previous fraction. So you have 3x over 15. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. I erase all that. We'll undo that. Should probably find a quicker way to do that, but right now, for the sake of time, I'll just go ahead and use that method. Let's see. So the next rule that we're going to use, let's see. So we're going to show that if you add fractions with unlike denominators, basically they're equivalent. So we're going to focus on rule number 5 right here. We'll start off with showing that, let's see, x over 3 plus 2x over 5 is equal to plus 3 over 2x. So I should probably say that while I'm doing it. 3 times 2x. So, all right, so basically what we're showing right here is exactly what happened right here. So in this case, a is x, b is 3, c in this case would be 2x. So actually, here we go. So this, all we did, we just took, so look at rule number 5, that's what we're focusing on. This is c. We just took c, moved c right over here. And then we just took a. So a, I'm trying to find the right color. So I'm trying to find the right color. I'm trying to use blue. There we go. And so this is a, and we just took a, and a we moved over here. So a was x. A is x in this case. And then you'll see that so what you notice right here is b and d were multiplied together. So 3 is b. So 3 is b. Probably should use something else, but anyways. And b shows up here, and then we see how b also shows up right over here. And then lastly, we want to look at d, which is 5, which we moved right here. And then if you notice that if you multiply these two together, just move that right over here, you get 15. So that is how we go ahead and express that rule right there in regards to the rule for adding or subtracting with unlike denominators. Probably go over that again later, but for right now, like I said, I'm just kind of making sure that we have a grasp on the rules, so I'll probably touch back on that again in a little bit. So let's see. The last rule we're going to look at is dividing fractions. So also super simple. The example we'll use is 7x divided by 3 over 2. Actually, I don't like that. We're going to need that space, so 3 over 2. So we're going to basically solve this through. I guess I should kind of take a second and pause. We know that in this case, a is going to be 7, b is going to be x, c is going to be 3, d is going to be 2. So take in consideration what this rule is saying, what we should do is show that this is equivalent to, okay, so let's do it one at a time. A is going to be 7, so we're going to put that right here in the numerator spot in the first fraction. And then is still going to be x. So the denominator for the first fraction, we're going to want to multiply that. Basically, we're just taking this fraction, the second fraction, and we're just flipping it or inverting it. So then we can take that. So we're going to take the 2, or d, that was in the denominator. We're going to put that in the top. That's going to become the numerator. And then what was in the denominator, which we can see, well, in the numerator, excuse me, which was 3, we're going to put that in the bottom. So I think I put that backwards again. Sorry, guys. So you see, so d goes up top, c goes to the bottom. So 3 was in the numerator. I should probably use them. I'll use the, let me use the colors again. The colors, I feel like the colors help a lot. So 3, it's a pretty bad circle. 3 up top, goes to the bottom. 2 was in the bottom, goes to the top. See, super simple. And then you just want to go ahead and just take that. The easiest part is just multiplying that through, and that's how you solve that problem. So we all know that we're just going to multiply across. In this case, 7 times 2, what does that equal? 14. And 3 times x is just going to be 3x. So that's how you would go ahead and solve this. Super simple, okay? Next video, go ahead and keep going with, like I said, some really basic intro to algebra level stuff, and then like I said, as I proceed with these videos in this series, we'll get more and more complex. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned in. I appreciate it, and make sure you subscribe. Thanks.